President Akufo-Addo has called on the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, to simplify its processes, particularly for infrastructure projects, because they are very cumbersome.
As an antidote, President Akufo-Addo is advocating for the establishment of a joint Africa-OECD technical committee to design procedures for processing infrastructure projects in Africa, including public-private projects, PPPs, that take into consideration the concerns of both parties. He said this at the 18th OECD conference in Paris, France.
On December 14, 1960, 20 countries originally signed a convention on the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD. Since then, 16 countries have become members of the organization. These include the US, UK, France, Canada, Australia, South Korea, Chile, among others. Membership of the OECD cuts across all the regions of the world, except Africa. Currently, the World Bank puts Africa's population at 1.2 billion. This figure is expected to increase to 2 billion people in 20 years' time. Due to the industrialization and structural transformation of African economies, analysts say the rapid population growth, which is made up of youth, represent a huge market that exporters in OECD countries could compete for. However, the leveraging of these development coupled with infrastructure could impact significantly on job creation and income levels on the people in Africa. World Bank says Africa's infrastructure needs amount to $170 billion a year, with financing gap of $108 billion. President Akufo-Addo, after attending G20 Compact with Africa Summit in Germany, was invited to France to address the OECD conference. The president explained that investment in areas of infrastructure development and skills training for Africa's youth will help the continent leverage its natural and human resources for rapid inclusive growth and economic transformation.
Build strategic partnerships focused on Africa's growth and transformation. This will be a win-win for African countries and members of the OECD. I'm very encouraged by Germany's Compact with Africa initiative, which should be strongly supported and emulated by all OECD countries.
Yava expressed concern about the cumbersome processes African countries have to go through before they can access funds from OECD countries.
I urge you to join us in building a continent of prosperity with equal opportunities for all. It is public knowledge that the processes for accessing funds within member countries of the OECD have become very cumbersome. It has gotten to the point where some OECD development institutions, for example, the World Bank and the European Commission, with substantial means that could go into infrastructure, have become passive bystanders in that space in Africa. Staff of the institutions shy away from infrastructure projects for fear their restrictive and cumbersome rules cannot be met. And as a result, African countries also shy away because it takes too long and it is too frustrating to deal with them.
President Akufo-Addo added Africa is rich in many natural resources that could form the base for processing industries and allied downstream manufacturing industries. He also said Africa possesses half of the world's uncultivated arable land, which could yield enormous benefit in the provision of foodstuffs and diversified agro-based economic activities.